Alright, so welcome back. If you just watched the last video, you seen we ended it. We had a bunch of the small service stuffs on the bike we got done, and now we're on to fork seals. We're going to do a neck bearing adjustment or steering adjustment. As you can see, I haven't got the clutch cable and stuff off it yet, but as you can see, it's just not, it doesn't even want to stay on its own right now. Very good. So they definitely need to be adjusted. I'm gonna kind of set everything up here first, and then we'll go over how you do that. So stick around and we'll do that first, and then we'll pull this tire off here and get these fork seals on. All right, getting my torque wrench out, exercising it up. If you don't know what that is, with these torque wrenches like this, you keep them down at their lowest torque setting in the box. When you get ready to use it, take it all the way up, all the way back down, and then to where you need to set it at. And just make sure that that spring in there is set right. So I've already pretty much done it. I'm gonna torque this down real quick and then tell you guys what I did. Because this is actually my first time doing this job. So I kind of wanted to get a feel for it before I start telling you guys what to do. Now, I recommend having a service manual for this, because it tells you for different bikes, they're all different. Like this one doesn't have a pinch bolt up here, and a lot of them do, so you can't turn your fork stem nut. But anyways, let me pull you over here. Alright, so first off, I did this part a little different than some people do. Some people put it on the fender itself, and I just kind of rigged it up just enough to do it, because I noticed mine were way too loose. I pulled the clutch cable off and the brake caliper. Technically should have done the throttle cables too, but I wasn't worried about it. I just kind of accounted for that a little bit when I was doing this. But you want to get it, find your center mark it, and then tap one side a little bit until it falls away, and then vice versa. Honestly, now that I've tightened torqued my nut down, this one's way too tight. I'll probably you're supposed to go full lock 3 times anyways, so like all the way over, and do that. It's like 3 times, and then but yeah, it's a little bit too tight. But I started out with it being way too loose, and once you torque that down, now I know this, it still messes with that adjustment a little bit. So whatever you got on there, I'd say do it a little bit looser. But you want these outside marks to be 2 to 4 inches is about the standard for most bikes, or at least Harleys like this. Like I said, whatever bike you got, double check the manual, or try to look it up, something like that. But so I did that. I loosened my lower triple tree pinch bolts, 1 on each side, and then obviously I took the chrome cap off here, just screws right off. You loosen this slightly, and then there's a nut right in there. I just took a punch and tightened it and loosened it as I adjusted. And so like I said, I'm going to loosen that top nut again, and then we'll loosen the because that nut in there that I used the punch on, that's what actually adjusts your fork stem. So that fork stem nut on top, when I tightened it, the torque spec 70 to 80 foot-pounds. The lower triple tree for my bike is 55 to 60 foot-pounds. The adjustment, the bearing adjustment nut the one I use the punch on, it doesn't have a torque spec, obviously, because you're just going off of what the thing is. So yeah, where does it say the exact? Okay, this one's, the mark should be within 1 to 2 inches. So yeah, mine are slightly more than that, so I need to loosen it up a little bit. But yeah, so you want 1 to 2 inches. So essentially you want about 1 inch fall away on each side for this bike. So like I say, this is my first time doing it. So take everything I'm saying a little bit with a grain of salt, but that's the basics and how you do it. Just make sure you look up your specs for your bike, because they're all very different. The video I watched, like I said, was 2 to 4, so that's why I was confused. That's why I keep going back to my book, because you can only take away so much. And there's a lot of bikes that don't have that nut in there. They'll have a pinch bolt right here, you know, just like your fork stuff, and then you can adjust it with the big nut up here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that finished up, pull that front wheel off so we can get these forks done. Alright guys, don't be this guy. That is my fork oil. Since I've owned the bike, I've never changed it. Pretty embarrassing, but yeah, that's absolutely nasty. I'm glad I'm doing this, but it also smells terrible. It smells like fish, a dead fish set out on the side of a lake for a long time. But anyways, so I'll kind of catch you up with what I've done here a little bit. I took the front wheel off, or I took the fender off, took the front wheel off. I popped off the dust seal cap, and then there's this little rubber seal on top of the dust seal. And then we've got, where'd they go? This one's underneath this. And then you got this little retaining clip right here that goes in there. You need to pop that off, because now that, and then you pull this bolt from the bottom, like this, and the oil, you know, you can kind of push the oil out. I've already pushed the oil out of this one, but I'll wipe my hand real quick. So, like I said, you push the oil out of that, and then you just take this and slowly bring it down. And that's how you get your fork off. Because that bolt I showed you just goes into right there. Whew, that is nasty. Yeah, like I said, don't be that guy. Don't be like me. Because it's as easy as, I have to do fork seals now because they're bad anyways, but it's as easy as just taking this plug out right here and do the same thing. Just work your fork up and down a little bit. It comes down, and then you just replace your fork oil. So it could be a really easy task, just like changing oil and your bike engine. So I'm gonna clean up a bit of this mess, or drain that other fork and clean up a bit of this mess so I got some room to work here. And then I'll set it up, the camera back up, so you guys can watch me put the seals on and what to look for. Obviously, like I'd said before, these forks are a little worn out. So let me show you here. I really need some new forks, but I'm gonna get some new forks and lowers at the same time, and I just didn't have the time right now going on this trip. So hopefully these seals will last. I might try to clean this up just a little bit with a little bit of steel wool. This other side's not bad. There's like 1 or 2 little spots, but it's could be a little worse. But anyways, and that could also be a result of not changing my oil. So once again, make sure you're doing that stuff. right, let me get this cleaned up. Okay guys, sorry, I feel bad. I've really just been kind of doing this stuff and then showing you after. So I did this one side fork just to get my brain to wrap around, make sure I'm doing shit right, so I can walk you guys through this side. So first off, you got this lower bushing down here. Just spread it out, pops right off, super easy. And then just kind of be careful because you got to hold the upper bushing and this little washer. My kit came with new washer, but we do have to reuse both the bushings because I just got kind of like a regular seal kit. I'll show you here in just a second what it comes with. Just make sure you wipe the stuff that you are going to be using again off real good. Go ahead and pull that seal off there. We're going to pull this dust seal down too. Mine didn't come with that either, so I just want to get that good and cleaned up as much as I can, especially around that inside rim. You want that clean against that metal to try to help keep that oil out, obviously. And I'm going to clean the fork up before we throw that back on there. So I just take the paper towel, just kind of go along here, start at the top. You definitely want to get down here where all your seals are going to be. And my forks are worn out, man. You can really see it now that I've got this stuff off, unfortunately. So I'm hoping and praying these seals will pretty well hold for this trip, which I think they will, because my fork tubes could be worse for sure, but they're not looking great. So a little more worse off for wear than what I realized, or I would at least try to get some fork tubes in time and worried about the chrome lowers later. But it's too late now. Putting it back together now. Got it all cleaned up. Take that dust seal cap, put it up, put it way up out of your way. Now I'm gonna walk over and show you what I got here with these. To be completely honest, I don't know what these O-rings I think are for the fork caps, but this and this I'm not 100% sure. These are for your bolts that go back in there. So you get a new clip, new seal, new washer, and then those obviously. So we're gonna go ahead and grab we gotta go in reverse order. So these you can kind of stretch over, so it's not that big a deal. But this is the order you want to go in. These seals have a little spring inside there. Make sure you have that spring facing up, because that's the way your seal works. Man, this one's tight. The other one wasn't quite this tight. Golly. Alright, so we got that. That did not want to go on there. I don't know what the deal was. Don't have any explanation other than probably bad quality control. Make sure you get your bushings in order. The skinny one goes on first, slides right on. And the copper one goes on second. Stretch it out. Push it up on there until it goes like that. And you are good to go for that part. Now, you're gonna want to clean up your forks real good. I mean, real good. Make sure you get all that crud. out of there. As you can see, just in the bottom of this piece, perhaps. This goes down on the end. It's pretty nasty too. So this one came out. The other one's still in the bottom of the fork. Do not forget these. I recommend you double check exactly what you put on there, what order, and that everything is correct before you put it back together. I watched one of my buddies do this one time, and after he was done putting it back together, I saw these sitting over on the bench, and I was like, hey man, are these supposed to go back in there? And yeah, sure as shit, he accidentally left them out. So anyways, I'm gonna have to go get some more brake cleaning stuff, but I'm gonna clean these forks up, and then when we go back to reinstall, I'll record again and show you guys that. I don't think you need to watch me cleaning the forks. All right, so once again, I did this other side, kind of help walk myself through what I'm doing so I don't look like an idiot trying to talk to you guys. I'm glad I did, because I definitely would have looked like an idiot. Anyways, so make sure your little pieces on the bottom there. Don't remember the name of it, my bad. But, and then also make sure you put your new copper crush ring on that bottom screw. And then slide this bad boy up in there. Make sure, yeah. Sometimes you can put just a little bit of grease on this to help hold it, or a little bit of oil or whatever. I end up having to do that if it's going to be, yeah, it wants to be that way. Or, if you're lucky, you can get it set down in there. Like I just did. It should slide right up in there. Get that bottom screw. Screw it in there. Give me just a second, I'll give you the torque spec on this too. .9 to 36.8. Anyways, now that you got that on there, you want to get that silver washer is going to be the first thing to go. Go ahead and take this little retaining clip off there. Try to push your seal up a little bit. And really make sure you get this one drove in there. Because if you don't, your seal will fight you getting fully seated. Ask me how I know. I did that with the Sportster and the other leg on this bike, so we'll see how this one goes. Also, you really want to try to get this as square as possible in there. For the first few hits, you can just kind of twist it around, get it going, and then do what you can to really polish that thing on there. Until you can see where that retaining clip goes. And take your retaining clip and try to get it set in there like that. And then what I did with the last one, I just took my seal driver again. And popped it right in there. It was right in that groove. And you got your dust seal. Pop that on there good and even. Make sure it looks good. Got your cap. I even use this for that other side, just made it easier. That drove on there, and that is how you do the seals. So now we got to lower the bike back down and put some oil in here. I'll probably go ahead and put the actually, no, I'm gonna wait because I gotta wash that wheel and stuff. But we can put the fork oil in here, and it takes, let's see. All right, so it takes 16 fluid ounces each, and then you're done with that. So I'm gonna clean up here, drop this down, go ahead and do that before we forget about that, and start moving on to some other stuff on this bike. Get this thing done. All right, so it's the next morning now. We got a lot done yesterday. Remember exactly the last thing I filmed, but you can see right here, these new wires, that right there, that was the charging deal that I bought that has the USB. Routed it right there, clear up underneath there, zip tied it up out of the way, and then it's got the little pigtail right there that it plugs in and out of. Did that, and I taped that connection, ran it right here, and this is where the USB plugs in. I went ahead and ran my charger. Just go straight up here, wrapped around that a couple times. Got the phone mount up there, checked it all out, it works. I finished up, put the fluid in the forks. It was 370 milliliters, and then I of course kept them back off. And the big thick rubber washers that were in that kit went in here. So the only ones I didn't use were the big O-rings. I'm still not 100% sure what those are for. Maybe just a kit for different models to make sure cover the bases. Late last night I put some Neverdol on it. I just got to finish wiping all the polish off now. I didn't do quite all the front end yet, up there where I can't really reach when it's up on the lift. Got the back tire off. That's what I'm about to start with this morning. I need to take it out and wash it. I got the front tire all cleaned up yesterday and then white lettered. It looks way better. I also don't remember, it's not a very good way it's strapped right now, you can't see it, but this piece right here, this bracket for the brake caliper, was painted black, and it's just, it did not match the bike at all, and it bothered me ever since I got it. Well, I finally took about an hour and a half yesterday, sanded all the black off of it, and I polished it up. It's just a piece of aluminum, so it polished up, and now it matches that chrome pretty good. It's still not quite perfect. There's a couple of spots that I could probably get to a little better, but honestly it gets covered up for the most part. But I might touch it up one day when I do those bottom forks. So I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna go and wash this tire real quick, and then maybe I might do just a small portion of the time lapse of white lining the tire so you can kind of see what I do for that. And once we get that back on there, that's probably going to be about where I'm going to end this video, because at that point I'm pretty much done. I got to do the belt adjustment, which I'll just kind of go over that right now. Here's your bolts. You got one on each side. You want to turn them evenly, because right now I know the rear wheel runs true. However, it has been a while, so I might put my dial caliper on there and just double check. That way, so as you can see on this belt, it's slightly thinner than the drive itself. So it kind of rides back and forth every once in a while, and I'm not quite sure why it's so thin, but it is the right belt for the bike. But I want to try to make it run straight so it don't wear weird. So yeah, I'll double check that, do the belt adjustment, tighten it up a little bit, and that is about all I got to do to it yet. Obviously I'll throw that king queen seat on there. That's 2 bolts, and get down, finish waxing the tank and stuff. I want to get a good coat of wax over everything. It's probably going to get dirty. My luck, it'll rain the first day, but as long as I can get a good coat of wax on most stuff, and that'll help kind of with some of that. So I'm going to put you guys down, and I'll probably bring you guys back when I'm doing the white letters and the belt deflection, and call it for the video. Okay, so I didn't really film anymore. I white lettered my tire, put it back together, and finished up some other stuff, but it was kind of hectic. Had a bunch of strip bolts. My rear brake bracket had a bolt that was stripped, and I had to weld up the hole, and then drill and tap new threads in it, and just lots of things that took a lot of time. So I'm a little behind on what I'm trying to get done and packing and stuff like that. So that's gonna be the end of this video. Pretty much showed you everything that I did for the most part, that was important. So hopefully you still enjoyed this video. I'm gonna get ready and clean up all this stuff now. I got the bikes pushed outside. I'm just gonna set the tools to the side so I can get stuff out of here. And I'm gonna slowly put everything up. Gotta push the welder back over where it goes. Yeah, that's about it. I might I don't know when I'm gonna get this video edited. If I don't get it edited till tomorrow, I may pop back in real quick just to show you guys the bike all loaded up. But I'm hoping to have it done before I get all that done. So we'll see. If I do, that'll be right next. Alright, so it is the following day. We're at the evening before I leave for my trip. I'm gonna get up real early tomorrow morning. Start off about an hour before the sun comes up or so, somewhere around there. I like to be able to ride and watch the sun come up, and plus about that time I'm going to be going through some mountainy roads, so I don't want to ride through there in the dark just in case of deer and animals and stuff like that. But I've got the bike pretty well packed. I'd say like 90% packed. I don't got too much left to do, so here it is. I originally wasn't going to bring a blanket because I don't necessarily need to, but I had this little wrap, and to save room in my bag, I have my uniform wrapped up in here, and it saved a bunch of room, so that was worth it. And it kind of helps break a little bit of the wind sometimes too, so it don't hurt to have that up there. Then I got my bag, turn around like this, and then I'll have a pillow that I strap up right in front of this, and it gives me something to lean on, and it makes the ride very, very comfortable. I got my extra fuel bottle strapped up back here. I use one of those rock straps for it. See how it does. It shouldn't, I mean, it's going to kind of wiggle around a little bit, but it's not going to fall down or anything, so it should be fine. I have to put my tools in here yet. I'm just going to put a few tools in like this side bag, or this side pocket and that other side pocket. I got some cables I got some straps and stuff in here, just small straps. I got my temperature gauge in the mail today, so that's awesome. And I also got my key fob in, but I'm not gonna be able to get that programmed right now, so I'm not gonna be really worried about taking it. Other than that, everything is pretty well ready to go, besides putting the tools and going through my list one more time to make sure I got everything. I gotta go to the store and get a charger cable that I don't have, and I'm gonna go fuel that little bottle up. Probably take the Sportster and fill it up at the same time. Plug it into the trickle charger while I'm gone. I took the Softail last night on a quick cruise and filled it up, so it is ready to go as she sits, and I'm getting super pumped and I'm ready to go. But anyways, I told you guys that if I had a chance, I hadn't edited the video yet, that I would give you guys a preview of the bike all packed up. Like I said, the only thing that's really going to look different is I'm going to put that pillow on there, and it really sets me forward for the first little bit, but after a while it starts to sink back in, so I start to settle in pretty good. So it definitely helps to have the pillow. If I had just that bag, like, it feels good right now, but after riding it gets to the point where I'm leaning too far back and it's not comfortable anymore. So yeah, thanks for joining. Thanks for sticking around. I know this video was kind of crazy. I just ran into a lot of snags yesterday. Had to re-drill and tap holes in all the 4 exhaust bolts that hold on to the bracket, and then that rear brake bracket had to weld and drill and tap that hole too. And those 2 things took, I mean, probably together a total of 2 hours, 3 hours, something like that. And that was unexpected time that I did not think I was going to have to do yesterday. So I didn't get packed at all yesterday. I was hoping to have this bike sitting like this, ready to go last night. But that just didn't happen, and it's fine. I still had plenty of time today. I had pretty much everything ready to pack up. So worked out. Make sure you join us. There'll be 1 week after this video, like I said, that I won't have a video, but I'm going to try to keep some shorts up and stuff going for you guys while I'm out on my trip as much as I can. As of now, you guys probably already know, but since I haven't actually told you guys yet, and in case you haven't seen shorts or I didn't end up getting any put out, I'm going to Sturgis. I'll be there the last half of the week pretty much, and then I'm going to ride on down to Louisiana. I have a buddy in the military down there that I'm going to do a program for a while with him. Be down there for a week, and then I'll ride back up through. I'm going to ride through, stop in Kansas at my mom and dad's house, stay there for a couple days on the way back. I'm going to ride through Beartooth Pass on the way back. I'm going to ride through the Lolo Pass in Idaho, starting in Montana, and then go down to Idaho, and then I'll shoot back up to my house. And yeah, that's pretty much my trip. It's a 4,500 mile trip total, so I'm pretty excited. It's the longest to date that I've done. I've done like I think just under 3,000 miles before, kind of a round trip, but this one will be a little different. I'll have a few days in between. Obviously, it's not like a straight ride, but yeah. So now you know. Nice and bike. Like I said, thanks for joining. Thanks for liking and subscribing, and I'll see you here in a week or 2.